Well, live here at Flash 2023. Welcome, everybody. Let's give a round of applause to all of the photographers who submitted. Yeah, big time. Biggest turnout or biggest amount of submissions that we've had for any Flash competition. This being the second Flash competition annually, the third Flash overall. The first competition, obviously, was a showcase of some of our great photographers here in the area: Jake Willard, Howard Lau, Courtney White, Tim Healy, and it has expanded to 30 photographers making the short list for the Flash 2023 event. Over 150 submissions came in from around the world, places as far as France, New Zealand. Where else, Howard? Where else did they come from? It's a far reach. Texas, they came from there too. So all over the place. Before we get started though, I just want to bring up Caitlin Peel, who organized this event. Say a few things. It's a hot mic. Take that.
All right. Well, I'll be quick because I'm not the important and exciting part of the show. But I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone here for supporting the Portland track community and supporting our photographers. We couldn't do this without all of you. As Jeff said, this is our third year having this Portland Flash event, and every year gets, I think, hopefully bigger and better, and we're excited to continue this on in the future. So thank you. And then also thank you to the photographers who submitted photos. Again, you keep raising the bar every year, and I'm sure this crew will talk about that, but you're making this a phenomenal event, and we're excited to keep it going. And then last, I just want to quickly thank the Portland Track Board for putting this together. It was a group effort, and so thank you to everyone who was involved. It was months of planning, and also thank you to Howard, who's kind of an honorary member of the board, who does all the behind the scenes for the competition, which is a very elaborate and complex calculating system that he's got. So, so thank you, and enjoy.
Right. Thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin put in a ton of work to organize this thing, and she's the secretary of Portland Track. And this is an event that very much reflects our values at Portland Track, keeping athletes at the center of everything, but also making it a very community-oriented approach, and highlighting all of the members of the community that support and elevate that, the different pillars. Photographers are definitely a major part of that. I always say, and Jake, we always say this, that baseball had radio and football had television. Basketball has reels, and track has photography. And photography, more than any other medium, I would say, introduces the sport to people worldwide, captures those emotional and inspiring moments. And it's amazing to me that a sport that is about fast movement is shown worldwide in still, mostly. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see those special moments captured. Big thank you to our partners that helped us put on this event: Barrel Brewing, which many of you are drinking tonight, Ciele Athletics, Maurten Sports Fuel, ProPhoto Supply, and our good friends at TracktownUSA. And again, thank you to all the photographers who submitted amazing work around the world, and to all those who were selected. It's a high honor. And yeah, this event is going to keep growing, and we like to think that these 30 photos that have been chosen by our esteemed judging panel will reflect a capsule of the year in track and field. And you can go back and see that archival installment of each year in track and field through those photos. So I've been doing a lot of talking, but let's introduce our judging panel here. We've got, I'm going to go Jake first. So we've got Jake Willard over there. Jake's the Director of Brand Marketing and Engagement for TracktownUSA. He served as photography coordinator for Hayward Field's most prestigious meets, as well as photographing for Tracktown. Jake, I think, is the mic on?
Hello, hello.
Hi. Go ahead and say hi. And then to Jake's right, we have Carissa Schweitzer, member of the Bowerman Track Club, Olympian and World Championships finalist, competing for the 5,000 and 10,000 meters. She was actually a subject of the winning photo last year, Pierce Townsend's 10,000 meter finish line photo. So thank you for taking a new role this year in Flash. And then to Carissa's right, we have Ashton Eaton, the world champion, Olympic champion in the decathlon. If you don't know his name, then this is Ashton. He's a master of all trades, I would say. And he's known for some of the most remarkable and photographic moments in track and field history. So we've got a keen eye on these photos here. Yeah. And then none other than Howard Lau here, the photo chief for Portland Track. And he's covered 4 world championships, and his award-winning work has been published both nationally and internationally. He's known for his captivating action shots, I would say. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate. And then Courtney White couldn't be here tonight, but she was the 5th member of our judging panel, and Courtney's a freelance photographer who's worked for Nike, Columbia, the Bowerman Track Club, and Runner's World. Her photos have appeared in Times Square, and she's known for her masterful portraits and stills. So a good eye in that category. All righty. Well, let's dig into this. So Howard, give us a brief description of your judging criteria here.
Do I have to use the mic or should I just speak up? If I speak up,
No, you got to use that for
do I have to use for the live stream? Okay, all right. Well, we really had a lot of different eyes, but I think for me, I would say I looked for the composition, the framing, the colors. Is it in focus? Is it tasteful? What's the background like? A clean background is always what I'm looking for. If there's like a trash can or a pole sticking off of like somebody's head, probably wouldn't go for that one. So I'm a very big clean background kind of guy.
Give us a little inside look into the point system too, because I know that's something of your own making, and
Yes.
it's a few different rounds.
Right. We had about 3 rounds of voting and over like 150 submissions. So the first time, everybody just voted your 10, all right? And everybody got a vote. If you got a vote, you moved into the next one. That kind of dropped it down to about 40. From the 40, we would then rank 1 through 20. Then you move into the next round. So it's the lowest score wins. So if all of us voted number 1, your score would be
Number 1.
1, because you take that total score and divide it by number of judges. This is important because there's so many photos that some of them are going to be about 7.58, and then some of them are going to be like 7.5. So that's pretty close in the decimal system. But we needed it because there was just so many submissions, so many talented judges here as well. Just like looking at it, we needed a fair way to judge it. So
Splitting hairs on some of them.
we are splitting some major hairs here.
So many great submissions here, and I just walking through that. They look amazing as prints.
This
up there.
is the best year by far, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from Ashton. Ashton, what are you looking at when you take a look at these photos?
I mean, I am seriously no expert by any means. Obviously,
you're on the judging panel.
There we go. Listen, yeah, undersell, over deliver. I was actually just looking for, I think initially, and maybe I'm a good judge of this from the standpoint of like, I really have no background, so it's like what spoke to me early on. The factors in that were emotion. Some of it was color, like I guess drama might be an interesting word to use. Sometimes, black and white could be drama. Sometimes some kind of extreme facial emotion or expression could be dramatic. So that was a big theme for me, and because I think that is a big part of our sport. Yeah, there's the celebration, but the celebration is so much better because there is like some drama behind it. We can all kind of maybe look at, Sha'Carri, like coming across the line and trying to prove something. Like you can tell that's what's on her face. Like I did that because people thought I couldn't, or whatever it is. So initially that, and then, I tried to kind of use my novice understanding to say like, yeah, is this an interesting framing? Something maybe unique? And maybe appropriate for the setting as well, because not all framings, I think, are the same for whatever you're capturing. Composition, for what it's worth, I dove into that, and then, yeah, I'd say those maybe the top 3. The other thing was, I tried to imagine being the photographer in that place. And I found it really fascinating. Like, sometimes things are on the ground level. It's like, why did you choose to go to the ground? Because it just made it so different. You could have chose to stand up like I do, with my phone. But it was just, I was trying to get into the mind of the photographer. Like, that is a really fascinating approach to me. Or you wanted to get way back to get a vista, even though we're trying to focus on athletes. So that exercise was fascinating to me. I don't know why some of you chose to do those things, but very cool. I'd love to learn more.
Yeah, those moments are a lot of times worked for years and decades. So it's through the athletes, those moments with the athletes, and then to be captured, you can revisit those and see what they mean over and over. But Carissa, for you as an athlete, what's it like to see yourself in those moments again, moments that you lived in photography form?
Yeah, no, even just like looking at some of these photos, not even photos that I'm in, but just ones that like, I think there's one of like Delilah at the start, and I'm just like, that immediately just gets me like nervous. I feel like that like start of a race feeling, and I feel like that's so cool that they were able to capture that emotion like all in that photo, because there's a lot of those photos, even like the finish line photos that you were talking about, where you just like can see that like victory, and not even just like their excitement of that victory, but what it meant to them, because each athlete obviously has a different story. So I think it's really cool how each one is captured in different ways. And then there's even like the photos of stuff that like a fall or something, and it's just captured like so perfect where like they're in focus. Whereas like for me, I would have like looked at that photo and it'd probably be a picture of like the whole group, and theirs is just like a focus on the person falling. So I feel like the uniqueness of like what they decide to capture is really cool.
And Jake, how about you? What spoke to you about these photos when you were judging?
Oh man, I mean, I think as a photographer, you obviously know the work that goes into getting the photos taken. I think the one thing that I appreciated amongst the photographer panel, so Howard, Courtney, and I, was that I think all three of us have different backgrounds in photography. I studied journalism, and a lot of that was visual component, so photography being a part of that. So I have my Professor Dan Morrison in my head being like, oh, like the foot's cut off, like, oh, it's not level, like things like that. Like, I'm very picky on a lot of the technical aspects of a photo. Whereas Howard, I think coming at it a little later in life, he's just like, I want a photo that looks good, like clean backgrounds, more artistic approach. And then we have Courtney, who's even more so artistic. Like, she is the very extreme of that to a very amazing level. And obviously that's why she's had so much success in the world there. So it's kind of funny to see how all three of us photographers had different approaches that we were bringing to it, and seeing how our rankings kind of varied. But yeah, so I think it was just kind of looking at the very technical stuff, but also just like you look at it and it's like, this is just a beautiful photo. Like, sometimes you can just tell, like, you throw that technical stuff out the window and you know, like, this is a moment. They captured something. Like, they were there, they experienced it, and now it lives on forever in that one still.
It's raw. It speaks to you.
Exactly.
It's emotional. Yeah, those are my favorites. So let's get into it. Let's get right into this thing. We don't want to drag our feet anymore. First, we're going to go with the abstract and landscape categories. So top 3 photos chosen by our judges in the abstract and landscape category. 10 photos in that category made the shortlist overall, and they're all displayed in the gallery. But these are the top 3 photos. So first, we're going to show the Hometown Hero by Johnny Pace. And that is Mondo Duplantis on the runway there. Looks like a Swedish flag. Very cool how he lined that up. Let's go through here. Tell me, Jake, just tell me what you thought about this photo.
This one was high on my list. I love this photo. I mean, just the composition, like, again, knowing Mondo represents Sweden on the world stage and getting the Swedish flag in there. This was a meet where, I mean, if you're watching the meets, you kind of relive the moments where it's like, the rain was so bad, then they kept pushing it back, and like they kept the meet running for 2 extra hours so Mondo could attempt the world record in front of his home crowd. So just kind of getting that raw moment. Clean. I mean, talking about clean background, like that's as clean as it gets. There's just a beautiful flag in the back. So yeah, really captures a lot in one photo. So
All right,
beautiful.
Let's keep running down the list here. So the next photo, Storm Approaching by Michael Dawson. It's from New Zealand. Michael Dawson's from New Zealand. This is a photo of the Cross Country World Championships in Bathurst, senior race run by Jacob Kiplimo. Carissa, what about this
I
photo?
really liked this one, so I'm happy that I'm holding it. But I just really liked the depth of it. I mean, you can just kind of see like the trail, like the line of all the athletes following, and it just kind of feels like you're really like you're there and you're in that moment. But I really liked it just because it's like the black and white of it, and just like kind of like, yeah, storm approaching. It just looks like tough. It looks like cross country, world cross. I mean, this is like perfect kind of setting for that.
Amazing photo. And then the last one, we have Over Under by Matt Flynn Parker here. Another vault scene there. Ashton, can you speak to that photo for us?
Yeah, this photo is, I like this one because, just the idea of capturing the arc of the stadium with the athlete clearing the bar, to me seemed interesting, like just unique. And I kept thinking, like, why do that? But what was fascinating is, I think it captured the size of the athlete. They're not really that big, but yet we compete in these massive stadiums, these massive facilities. And so it kind of, to me, was like, okay, we have this, we kind of honor these performances by just the stadiums that they're in. And I think even though the athlete is small, the performance is big. And that's what this photo kind of did for me. And that's why I chose it. So yeah.
Such a great description. And you were already talking about kind of the pulling back the camera and why people choose that specific focus. And yeah, that's, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology when I'm speaking about these things, Howard. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, we're going to reveal the winner of the abstract landscape photo category this year. They will win $250. And all of these photos are up for auction, like we said at the beginning of the night, and split 50-50 the proceeds with the photographer and Portland Track. Help Portland Track put on programming year-round, but also, I mean, photographers do amazing work.
And additionally, a $100 rental gift certificate to ProPhoto Supply.
That's right.
So you can rent gear as well.
So anybody coming in for meets down in Hayward Field for the Olympic trials this summer can rent at ProPhoto and then jet right down to Eugene too. Okay. I-5 is so short too. Never been shorter. All right, abstract landscape photo of the year is Hometown Hero by Johnny Perkins. Yeah. Oh, congrats. Johnny, go ahead and just let the people know what this means to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. This is really an honor, and I'd just like to say like how excited I was because all of the photos in this collection are by photographers that I admire and respect, and so to be in that company is really a privilege. So this photo especially means a lot because it came on an amazing summer where I covered my first Diamond League circuit, and I think when I'm shooting, I'm always looking for kind of a second or a third or fourth dimension beyond just the moment itself. And when I knew that Mondo was going to be competing in Stockholm, his home country, I was like, that's really compelling. And so, and then obviously it went on to be an amazing performance from him. And there's a kind of an interesting story, like this meet takes place in I think it's the Olympic Stadium of like 1920 something, 1928. It's an old stone building, and out there in Europe, generally there's less red tape, I suppose, for shooting, and that was something I really enjoyed.
Talk to Jake about that, yeah.
Yeah, so, there was this beautiful brick or stone stadium, 100 years old, and I kept feeling like I wanted a different perspective, and I slowly made my way like higher and higher in the stadium and would see the workers of the meet, and they smiled and paid me no mind. And so I continued up into the tower of this 100-year-old stadium till I was up just as high as you get up where the television cameras were. And I suddenly like appeared before me. It's like, oh my gosh, like that kind of looks like the Swiss flag. And he was making a world record play. And so the picture, I got chills when that happened. I love when moments like that happen. And so, yeah, this was a really special one, and I appreciate the kind words, and thank you so much. So
Yeah, great work, man. Great, fantastic. Yeah.
I'm gonna take some stuff.
Yeah, Johnny Pace, everybody. All right, let's move on to the action category here, the top 3 photos in that category.
Hold on. I'm going.
Howard's going to get them ready. Pulling those up there.
Give me the names.
So, wait. Yeah, I can't spoil it yet.
This one. I believe it's this one.
Okay. Okay, so the first photo that we're going to turn around, Running Hungary for Gold by Taylor Perez. Lindsay Flanagan racing in Budapest this year in the marathon. There's your mic, Howard.
Thank you.
This is the action category. Next one we're going to turn around, Falling to Victory by Celine DaCosta.
Following.
Yeah. Photo of Winfred Yabi falling in the steeplechase world championships race. She would eventually win that race. Great photo there. And the last one, we have the WRPOV Logan Hannigan Downs.
And Action's in here apparently. He's in the photo apparently. He's looking for himself.
This is Mondo Duplantis' world record vault at the pre-classic this year.
The photographer's also in the photo. So yeah, that's perfect. Are you in there? Okay.
Yeah, Ashton is in that photo as well. Okay, so Jake, let's hear what you have to say about the photo you're holding there. Running Hungary for Gold by Taylor Perez.
Taylor Perez, so she was posting a lot on her Instagram story when she was in Budapest getting this photo, and she was crawling underneath the bike ped rail stuff, like trying to get the perfect angle. She saw the lighting, like, I don't know, just following along her story and seeing the work that went into getting this shot. And this is as good as it's going to get in terms of like the lighting. You get the refraction of light up in the corner, the dimensions you get from the buildings kind of coming along at you, the clean background. We always say clean backgrounds are important. This photo just truly has it all. And on a world stage in a marathon, road racing is such a different beast to shoot than on the track because you just have so many more opportunities to get different perspectives. So she really did it all to get this shot, and this really rose above pretty high for us as we were kind of evaluating it. Like, wow, this has a lot. So
Yeah,
good job,
amazing
Taylor.
photo. Carissa, how about that shot with Winfred Yavi? Can you imagine doing that in a race there?
Yeah, I don't do the steeple, but I don't know if this makes me want to do the steeple. But yeah, this shot is pretty incredible. I kind of talked about it earlier, just being like able to focus, like photographers being able to focus on something different than what everyone else has seen. And I think that's just like a crazy shot, like especially when we were talking about like where the photographer's at, like they're like on the ground probably shooting this, and it's just like incredible to capture like that emotion, and just even more so the fact that she went and won that prelim. I think it's just like a really like cool photo to have captured.
And then we've got the WRPOV world record point of view.
The reason I chose this is really simple. Just, capturing a moment in history. I understand that this, camera device is on the pole. You kind of have to like press the shutter button, I'm guessing. And so, the timing matters. It's basically already framed up. But I think it was top of my list from an action standpoint, just because, I think world records are they're that pushing, they're the next step in like a progression of human performance. And I just thought that was great to capture. And, capturing this person's face and expression, this could be one of many, or it could be his last one. You don't know. So I thought it was important to put it in there.
Yeah, amazing to see that, because it's the instant right after he realizes too that he got over it clean. Okay, so the winner of this category, Howard, is Falling to Victory by Celine DaCosta. The winner.
Celine cannot be here, but she is streaming right now. So she is on on. Hello, Celine. You won. Congratulations. So let's give it up for Celine. Thank you one more time. Thank you.
Okay, the final category that we have this evening is the portrait still category. And we're getting our photos ready for that. So this is a Courtney White expertise, honing in on the expressions, the portraits of athletes who are either warming up or catching their emotional response to amazing feats that they just accomplished. We have our photos ready here. So the first photo is, again, Logan Hannigan Downs, a silent yell. Ashton's photo here. Javon Harrison. Javon Harrison, the athlete, silver in Budapest this year, but that was obviously at the pre-classic. Next photo we have up, Bilal Alfan, the broken screw. Hunter Woodall there, Para-Athletics World Championships in Paris. There was a broken bolt in his blade prior to the 400 meters that he couldn't get fixed quite in time. So the agony on his face there. And then the last photo, or actually we have a tie.
It's a tie. That's why there's so many of
So
them.
we have 4 photos in the top 3 here.
Quite literally down to the decimal point tie.
First we have 19 by Anderson Bobo. That's Arian Knighton, 19 years old, silver medalist in the 200 in Budapest this year. And then the last photo we have by Michael Dawson, Fire. And a portrait of Ishmael Kipkarui after his victory in the 3000 at the Melbourne Continental Tour meet. So, the winner of this category is... Well, we need to talk about these photos first.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's find.
Yeah, let's pass the mic.
So obviously, this is a moment, and it's a very intimate moment, and it is captured. Although it's tragic, it's beautifully captured, and I think respectfully captured. That's another key, I think, with the photography. If you're getting a moment like this, is you got to do it respectfully, and this is very well done. Yeah, it's hard not to feel some kind of emotion when you're looking at this, so have to put it on there. Really well done. And the use of black and white. That's another big thing. Use of black and white, I think, is important for moments. People like to overuse it, and this is, I think, an appropriate time to use it. So big ups on that.
So I actually looked at this photo for a while when I was judging, and I just was trying to figure out with all the color going on and the lighting and stuff, because it's pretty insane that it's the stadium lights are in the back, and then you see a light from probably a cannon or something at the finish line going off. So I think it's really awesome that they were able to capture that glow that's on his face, and you can even just see the sweat beads and stuff. So I feel it's for the category it's in, is a very cool photo to capture at the end of a race.
I liked this photo for several reasons. One, I thought the choice of black and white was appropriate, mainly because it did make it more dramatic, but I think it allowed me to focus more on his face than kind of be distracted by other things. At the same time, I loved the kind of weighting and composition. So his body is at an angle, and I think if his hair wasn't there, it'd kind of be an off-center type thing. But it just seems really that motion that his hair's making. Obviously, he's got a lot of emotion in this photo, but it just balanced it really well. So I thought it was a great capture of a dramatic moment, and I suppose the composition word would be the one to use. I thought it was really well done, the black and white and the focus. I mean, with people like this, when you watch this on TV, it's boom, and it's over. So this was just, I think, really well done from a portrait standpoint.
It takes a lot of trust between the athlete and the photographers to get something like this, because you can't really be shoving your camera into an athlete, because sometimes they're like, what are you doing? So the fact that not only did this photographer be able to get so close, everything is very in focus. The eyes, the sweat, everything is in focus. It's a very hard shot. So I love it. The background is blurry. It's clean. I love the reaction this is the new generation of the athlete, right? I mean, this kid is going to be a superstar. If he's not already a superstar, he's the future. He might break the world record one day. So
It's such a natural reaction too, or organic, maybe a better word, yeah. That it's not staged at all.
So, something I'd like to say is this does, I think, maybe speak to the photographer too, because sometimes in these moments you'll like cross the line and you're kind of looking, for somebody to celebrate with in this type of thing. And you do like a very perfunctory scan of like, who is the photographer that's going to be cool with this, and it's maybe just like a look on their eyes, like, are they excited too? They, like, you can really only see their eyes. And if you see somebody like this as well, you just dive in. You're like, yeah. And so I think this maybe spoke. I don't know what the photographer did to get Arian to do that, but there must have been something there.
Well, I think he can tell us because this is the winner of this category. Correct. And still 19. Nice work, sir.
congratulations.
So what did you do?
Yeah, let us know.
Appreciate it. Oh, I stand right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. What did you do here?
Hello, everyone.
Take us behind the scenes.
Okay, so I used to work at the University of Florida, and so that's where Arian Knighton trains. And so I'm pretty close with all those athletes, but he's that's how I got that. But he's probably the athlete that I've never gotten a real reaction out of before. And it's funny to go from the Florida Relays meet, where you have unlimited access, to Budapest, where you're super far back and you just kind of have to operate differently in meets like that. And so this one, he got second, and I've never seen him excited after a run before, and he's hyped, he's in front of it. I kind of make eye contact with him for a second, and then he doesn't really do anything. Then him and Noah jump over the barrier to go to the fans, and then they're going nuts. I'm sure you remember, like, Noah was doing what Noah does, and then EK was just going crazy too. And I was just kind of standing there. I didn't want to push in because I know other photogs want to get their shots. Got to be like respectful of the moment. And then he's turning back, and we kind of make eye contact, and I just go, "Let's go, E." And he just looks at my camera and just screams, as you can see. I was going to do what he did, but this speaks for it. And so in that moment, I was kind of shocked, and I was really hyped for him. So I think it was just kind of a mix of like the trust, and thank God I was in focus. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. So yeah,
Hey,
thank you.
congratulations. Yeah, great work. I'll take that from you. Good job.
All right.
Okay, those are your shortlist category winners. And now we're going to toss it over to Jake, who has the winners of the Tracktown categories for this year.
Okay, so like we did last year, obviously the I-5, we want to keep that as short as possible.
I-5's so short.
So short. If you're in Portland, come down to Eugene for meets. If you're in Eugene, come up to Portland for meets. We're the track and field state. Oregon is the track and field state. People need to know that.
That's right.
So TracktownUSA last year, we sponsored 2 prizes, 2 bonus prizes. So every photo that was submitted, even if it didn't make the short list, was entered into these categories. So we have obviously the Hayward Field photo of the year, because TracktownUSA, Hayward Field, they go hand in hand. So we wanted to make sure we're celebrating that venue and everything that it represents for the sport. And we also do an award for the Black Woman Photographer photo of the year. Last year we started a partnership with Polly Rungu's program, Black Women Photographers, kind of just raise awareness and really create opportunities for women of color who really want to break into the photography and videography world, just because they're the most underrepresented. So making sure that they get their place, and we would bring out Black women photographers to our meets and hire them to be a part of our content teams. We've done that for the last 2 years, so we wanted to keep that prize going as well, keep uplifting Black women. So the process we go through for these 2 awards is I will pull all the photos that are submitted that meet the criteria, so photo taken in Hayward Field or photo taken by a Black woman photographer, and we will submit them to the Tracktown staff. So we have our staff of about 25 of us, counting our board members, that just send them a Google link, and I said, hey, pick your favorites, and these are the 2 that came back. So we'll start with the Black Women Photographer photo of the year. So Jeff, if you'd like to turn it around, it is Delilah Muhammad, taken by Celine DaCosta. Beautiful.
Celine DaCosta,
That's two.
That's two. Again, hi. I know you're streaming right now. Hello.
This was a unanimous vote by the Tracktown staff. People, obviously, Delila is important, big figure for us, United States. She comes to Tracktown, competes a lot. But just a beautiful moment. Very well documented. Her hair flowing. You know, this like Carissa was talking about, just that moment right before the start on the biggest stage, captures a lot of emotion. So very beautiful shot. Celine DaCosta, Black Moon Photographer Photo of the Year.
Gets the nerves going. Maybe not one for the nap time room, but yeah, great shot.
Great shot. And then for our Hayward Field Photo of the Year, again, same process, sent to the Tracktown staff, pick your favorite. This one was by far the front runner. There was some others that had some moments, but this one is just one of the most unique shots you'll ever see in Hayward Field. So it is Logan Hannigan Downs, a fish eyes view.
Come on down, Logan. Come down.
He's here tonight.
Just such a unique perspective, you know. Talk a little bit about this. Talk a little bit.
I originally saw this angle of photo at the World Championships, Oregon 22 last year. A photographer from Europe, I forget his exact name, did this similar shot. And so I looked at it and asked Jake, can we do this at Hayward? And Jake said, absolutely. And Karen said, absolutely. And so I started researching underwater housings. And so it's in an underwater scuba diving housing. And then the question came up of, well, how do we fire the camera? Because it's underwater. So we had to buy I had to buy a custom underwater cable. And then it ran to my laptop, and I sat there on the infield on my laptop, pressing a button to fire the camera, and just sort of prayed that it worked and it didn't fail, and the camera stayed dry, and this is the result.
Beautiful. Great work, Logan.
And he's selling himself short a little bit because he tested this at Portland Track Festival and then again at another meet before he finally got to USA's and talked this photo. So much work went into getting this one shot, and seeing it come to fruition was really cool. So
cool to hear the stories behind the prints too. Okay, so we have the winners of all of the categories now up for, and we're just going to revisit the top 3 winners for the short list before we select the photo of the year, because the photo of the year is going to be selected from each one of these winners here. Let's just see where I have them. All right, so we have Hometown Hero, again by Johnny Pace. We have Falling to Victory by Celine DaCosta. And we have 19 by Anderson Bobo.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, that's it.
bring it on, man.
This is the 2023 Flash Photo of the Year.
Falling to Victory.
Falling to Victory by Celine.
Unanimous. It was a unanimous vote.
There was yes, all of us were like, so what we did for the voting is, we had to rank them 3, 2, 1 for the point system. So it was a 5. It's a perfect 5. So it's, yeah.
A perfect 5 here for the 2023 Flash Photo Competition. Another one in the books, amazing photos. All 30 photos that were submitted are outstanding, and they each come with a certificate of authenticity from Portland Track, letting you know that this is one of the prints that were recognized here at the show officially. So bidding is still open for another 45 minutes. We hope that you'll bid it up.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Jake.
If you're a photographer who has a photo in the show that's here right now, can you please stand up? I want to get recognized as well.
Yeah.
So go talk to the photographers, ask their stories, because as we've seen, there's some awesome stories behind how these photos are taken or why they're taken. So ask their stories. If you bid on their photo, get them to sign it at the end. It's going to be the highlight of your life. It's really fun. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great call. All right, well, that does it for Flash 2023 for the show. We can cut the live stream. Wait. Yeah, we're going to do the raffle. Yeah, don't go anywhere because we've got the raffle coming up right now too, but we can close it down for our viewers worldwide. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next year.
Thank you.
Party goes on.
All right. Stay right there. We're going to do the raffle. All right.
All the time.
Did you enter?
Okay. Shake it up.